Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post. Hollywood goes broke with unpaid bills, layoffs, and severe cutbacks on perks. Not every Hollywood studio is not paying their bills, but a couple of big ones are having problems. One you definitely would have heard from before is Village Roadshow. They made the first Joker, not the new one. They didn't have the money to lose on that one. But they also did Matrix and that recent terrible Mad Max movie. They're laying off staff and they're in trouble with the WGA, who is telling its members not to even write for this company anymore. And in another recent production, Paramount and 101 Studios step in to save Christmas for dozens of construction crew left unpaid on new Guy Ritchie series. Guy Ritchie is not like just some very small, unknown independent guy. Why can't his people get paid? At least Paramount and 101 Studios jumped in to help cover the cost so these guys got paid. It's the construction crew. They are regular people. They're just working. They need to get paid. And from the Wall Street Journal, Netflix's extraordinary parental leave was part of its culture. And now that's over. They've also cut back on merchandise swag with the Netflix logo. You can't get that if you work for Netflix beyond a certain budgeted amount. And they're also doing layoffs like all the other studios. And Netflix is one that's actually making a lot of money. From The Hollywood Reporter, Village Roadshow accused of late payments as Writers Guild ready stop work order. The Matrix Resurrections and Joker producer recently laid off staff as the company explored strategic options. When a company explores strategic options, that means they're looking to sell the company. They may put the company into bankruptcy, or they may merge the company with another company. But when they have to say publicly that they're laying people off and they're exploring strategic options, that means they've been trying to figure out what they can do with their company to save it for quite some time. At the point where it becomes public, things are really bad. The Writers Guild of America is on the verge of ordering its writers not to work with Village Roadshow, claiming the firm is behind on paying its writers. Quote, I can confirm that they're late on paying their writers and a stop work order is imminent, a WGA spokesperson told The Hollywood Reporter. A representative of Village Roadshow, the once prolific shingle behind the Ocean's movies, Mad Max Fury Road, and the Lego movie, declined comment. The Lego movie made an absolute fortune and did great. Mad Max Fury Road is probably what put them into this position, because it did not do well. Amid the ongoing Hollywood contraction, that's what the Hollywood depression is being referred to inside the industry. It's a contraction. It is really a production depression. But Village Roadshow has been trimming costs. A few months ago, they conducted a round of layoffs affecting business affairs, administration, and film and television roles. At the time, the company was considering strategic options, including taking on more investors. Hey, why not? And what investors wouldn't want to throw money at a movie company that isn't making any money, produces movies that are not well received, and is about to get banned by the Writers Guild? Since 2017, a controlling interest of Village Roadshow has been owned by Vine Alternative Investments. Vine Alternative Investments is an asset manager and private equity firm that seeks to invest in media and entertainment industries. I don't think they're out there looking, though, to lose money. The company provides liquidity, that's available cash so you can operate and produce things, to established creators and owners of film and television content. Vine invests in flexible and creative transactions with its industry partners to fund production financing, marketing and distribution expenses, and working capital. Established in 2006, Vine Alternative Investments is based in New York. If Village Roadshow was a viable business, they could easily raise more money for Village Roadshow. That is exactly what Vine Alternative Investments does. The problem is, it doesn't look like it's a viable business anymore. This year, the Village Roadshow Entertainment Group inked a first-look development deal with Kevin Garnett's production banner, known as Content Cartel. Very cool name, not going to save this company. It also announced a few notable projects, including an adaptation of Pam Grier's memoir, Foxy, My Life in 3 Acts, a scripted series based on the University of Idaho murders, and a docuseries focused on the life of Teamsters boss Jimmy Hoffa. But what happened to their relationship with Warner Brothers? Notably absent has been projects with one-time close collaborator Warner Brothers. The relationship with Warner Brothers seems to be what really created a devastating problem for these guys. Since 2022, Village Roadshow has been embroiled in an arbitration with the legacy studio after it filed a lawsuit over the day and date release of 2021's The Matrix Resurrections, which wasn't a good movie either. The group has now also claimed that Warner Brothers boxed it out of meaningful financial participation on sequels and remakes of titles like Sherlock Holmes and Ready Player One. Notice they're not complaining about not getting paid off on Joker 2, because Joker 2 lost everybody involved a fortune. Village Roadshow somehow either didn't have money at the time or just said, no, you know what, we're just going to sit this one out. That has been the best move that this company made, it looks like, since around 2021. But why did Paramount have to step up and start paying the bills for productions that it wasn't supposed to have to pay? From Deadline, Paramount and 101 Studios step in to save Christmas for dozens of construction crew. Paramount and 101 Studios have been forced to step in and save Christmas for dozens of construction workers on their upcoming Guy Ritchie series. Paramount definitely did the right thing here. At the same time, if they didn't do this, they would have been blamed even though it really wasn't directly their fault. Deadline has been told that at least 50 people who worked building the sets on The Gangster Show had been left unpaid in the amount of around $316,000. But thanks to Paramount, hopes are running high that they will get their money before Christmas. The show, which has rolled cameras in London, stars Tom Hardy, Helen Mirren, and Pierce Brosnan in two warring families whose enterprises stretch all across corners of the globe. Produced for Paramount Plus with Showtime by 101 and MTV Studios, it's currently untitled but has had working titles like The Associate and Fixer. Construction of sets took place over the summer, and the non-payment issue has emerged in recent weeks due to financial strife experienced by set construction firm Helix 3D, which, as they understand it, is likely to enter liquidation, which is to mean it's going bankrupt and will be sold off for pieces. Paramount and 101 are understood to have paid Helix, but Helix has failed to pass on some of the money to at least 50 people who are members of UK broadcasting union BEC2. A number of people who worked on the show raised concerns in a Facebook group over the past few days that they won't be paid in the run-up to Christmas. Deadline now understands that Paramount and 101 have now intervened and are hopeful they can pay all the money owed to construction workers by early next week. In a letter sent to Helix boss Brian Dowling from BEC2 official Chris Hudson, seen by Deadline, Hudson said while liquidation now seems unavoidable, what does seem to have been avoidable was the lack of foresight that this situation could occur, given the serious financial trouble Helix was in. This resulted, Hudson added, in Helix being unable to pay our members while they were tirelessly working to finish building the sets, with many members now very distressed, fearing they'll be unable to cover necessities such as bills. That is what people do with their money. So Paramount's doing the right thing here. The problem is the production company isn't able to continue in business and is completely fallen apart. Another victim of the Hollywood depression, that they like to call a contraction. And from Business Insider, all the ways Netflix is cutting costs and perks from parental leave to corporate merchandise. The tech industry's war on perks seems to have switched to its newest channel, Netflix. The media and entertainment company is reportedly trying to rein in some of its employee perks, including its parental leave policy, according to the Wall Street Journal. Netflix is trying to discourage employees from using the unlimited time off it gave to parents for a year following the birth or adoption of a child, according to the Wall Street Journal, citing internal communications and interviews with current and former employees. Quote, "We did not plan for employees to use 1 year as the starting point for evaluating how much time away that they needed for bonding and care, nor did we assume that employees would view this as a 1-year leave." A 1-year paid leave? I mean, things are a little bit tough in the entertainment industry. They're going through what they like to call, a contraction, but it's really, truly a depression. And they're going to have people who work for them who take a year off. I mean, it's incredibly important to spend time with your children. There really is nothing more important. But can Netflix really afford to subsidize that for an unlimited number of employees a year or longer? That's a long time. Also, that's like, say, a year's salary and benefits. That's a lot of money for Netflix. But aside from that, like, didn't you actually do something when you were working for the company? Like, aren't you a part of like a network or a team or, some chain of events that has to happen for the work that you actually do at the company? It's one thing if you don't do anything at the company, but if people rely on you at the company and you're gone for a year, like, how are they supposed to get things done? One of Netflix's human resources officials wrote to the Wall Street Journal that Netflix has been trying to curb the usage of the full year of leave since 2018. We're coming up on 2025 any day now. That's a long time to have this kind of a mess. They need to just have an honest conversation with their employees and tell them, look, this is what we're able to do. This is what we can't do and why. Your job and you are so important to the company. We need you to actually come to the company and not take a year off. I'm not putting down maternity leave or paternity leave. It's important and people should get it, but you have to work something out with the company, especially when all these companies are going through so much change right now. Among employees at Netflix, taking more than 6 months of parental leave is now, quote, widely understood to be an unwise career move. A Netflix spokesperson told the Wall Street Journal that over the last 4 years, U.S. employees at the company averaged 6.3 months of parental leave, and employees outside the country averaged 7.5 months. Netflix had this to say to Business Insider, quote, employees have the freedom, flexibility, and responsibility to determine what is best for them and their family. Our parental leave policy has always been to take care of your child and yourself, according to Sergio Ezama, Netflix's chief talent officer, and he said that the company has, quote, not pulled back on its parental leave policy. The company has also implemented a limit of $300 in company merchandise, such as coffee mugs and sweatshirts per year that each employee can order, according to the Wall Street Journal. I don't know what they were doing with all these extra sweatshirts and coffee mugs. Maybe they were selling them on eBay. Or maybe they were going with that instead of just normal holiday shopping, or that would actually be a pretty good use for it. Meanwhile, the streamer has asked managers to tighten the purse strings on compensation. It previously let them pay above market rates to attract and retain talent. Now, managers are asked to ensure salaries stay within 50% to 95% of employees' peers, per the Wall Street Journal, according to emails that they've seen. With the massive layoffs going on throughout Hollywood, I don't know why you'd need to pay above market rates, but you can't pay people more than 95% of what the market rate is. If 200 grand a year or 300 grand a year is the market rate for something, you're going to pay more than twice? Is it? Like, that's too much. Netflix updated its well-known culture memo in June, removing the freedom and responsibility section and adding one called people over process, which spoke of hiring unusually responsible people who thrive on openness and freedom. Netflix co-CEO Ted Sarandos said at the Wall Street Journal's Tech Live conference in October that he received pushback for changing the memo. Well, we're constantly working on improving the culture, he said. And so when anyone says, hey, the culture is changing, yes, of course it needs to. We definitely change the culture. We want it to reflect how we work, not dictate how we work. He said the company had fewer than 300 employees when he and Netflix co-founder Reed Hastings wrote the original memo. While the initial memo was perfectly suited for the company's size at the time, the revised version actually reflects much more today, our 14,000 employee business culture. The changes signal a culture shift at Netflix as it contends with pressure from Wall Street and other challenges. The company has recovered from shedding subscribers for the first time in a decade in 2022, but in recent years has cracked down on password sharing to boost its subscription numbers, and that worked really well for them. They've also added advertising to Netflix, you've probably noticed, and that's also done really well for them, but they do have to control their numbers. They've got Disney after them, they've got other companies after them. Everybody wants to have what Netflix has got. And Netflix would not be the first company to slip up while they're ahead of the pack. Netflix isn't the only company reining in its perks. As a focus on efficiency sweeps the tech industry, spurring mass layoffs and cost-cutting initiatives, other companies are cracking down. Facebook recently fired some employees who misused its $25 Grubhub meal perk. Google told staff last year it was reducing cafe hours on campus and shifting fitness class offerings and shuttle schedules based on usage. Every industry has companies that have problems in the industry. It doesn't mean that the entire industry is having the same problem, but they're having different kinds of problems. You can see Netflix's issue is they need to get realistic because no matter how successful Netflix is, that doesn't dictate how successful they're going to be. They need to be competitive at every level for their customers, for all the content that they purchase. Everything they produce needs to be exactly what people actually want. And they've got to deal with nonstop competition coming at them from every angle. When you're a big company, you've got to play defense all the time. When you're a big company in the lead and you're the number one in the industry, everybody's gunning for you. You have to be even more defensive and more careful. Some of what's working for Netflix is the narrative on Wall Street. Wall Street likes what Netflix is doing right now. That actually could change. What if Disney does focus on their brands properly? And they do that for a couple of years and then a couple of more years. Brands could be as important as distribution somehow. Maybe Disney has an opportunity to catch up to Netflix. They've got to lay people off. They've got to get their parental leave programs under control. They've got to be effective and make sure they can compete in the future. And Village Roadshow and other smaller entities, if they have a couple of bad movies, it could put them out of business. And in the case of Village Roadshow, they apparently blew up their relationship with Warner Brothers over a bad Matrix movie. It may very well be that Warner Brothers actually did work well with Village Roadshow and they had a good working relationship. And sometimes the business model only works when you work with other people or other companies. Destroying the relationship between Village Roadshow and Warner Brothers over that Matrix movie may have been enough to push them out of business. At least it looks like the construction workers who are now going to be out of work because their construction company is going out of business, at least they're getting paid before Christmas. Let me know what you think of all this in the comments below. Always love to see your ideas. Please be sure you are subscribed to the channel. Click the bell for notifications, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again soon with another story. And if I don't see you, I will miss you.